A surprise birthday party at home. Have you ever tried to keep a secret that made you feel like you might explode? Today's story will take you on a hilarious adventure of friendship, chaos, and celebration that will have you laughing out loud while improving your English vocabulary. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button right now to join our story-driven English family, where we learn English through exciting stories every week. Now, get comfortable and let's dive into a surprise birthday party at home. It was a typical Tuesday morning when Sarah checked her phone calendar and nearly spilled her coffee. "Oh my goodness. Mike's birthday is this Saturday," she exclaimed, her eyes widening with realization. Mike was her best friend since childhood, and she had completely forgotten about his birthday. This wasn't just any birthday, it was his 30th, a milestone that deserved something special. Sarah quickly finished her coffee and called their mutual friend, David. "David, I can't believe I almost forgot Mike's birthday this weekend," she said as soon as he answered. "His birthday?" "No, I forgot too," David replied, sounding genuinely shocked. "What should we do?" "I think we should throw him a surprise party," Sarah suggested, already getting excited about the idea. "Nothing too big, just close friends at his house. You know Mike doesn't like huge gatherings." "That's perfect," David agreed enthusiastically. "But how will we get everyone organized in just 4 days? And how will we get him out of his house so we can set everything up?" Sarah thought for a moment. "Let me call Emma. She's great at organizing things, and she can help us make a plan. Plus, she's Mike's girlfriend, so she can keep him busy while we prepare." After hanging up with David, Sarah immediately called Emma, who answered on the third ring. "Hey Sarah, what's up?" "Emma, we need your help," Sarah said quickly. "Mike's 30th birthday is this Saturday, and we want to throw him a surprise party at his house. Can you help us plan it and keep him away while we set up?" Emma gasped. "His birthday? I've been so busy with work that it completely slipped my mind." "Of course I'll help. I can take him out for lunch and shopping. Tell him I need help picking something for my brother." "Perfect," Sarah exclaimed. "Let's create a group chat with all his close friends so we can coordinate. I'm thinking we aim for around 6 p.m. for the surprise." "Sounds great," Emma replied. "I'll make sure to have him back home exactly at 6. "Oh, and Sarah, thanks for remembering his birthday. He's going to be so happy." Sarah smiled to herself as she hung up. She immediately created a group chat titled Mike's Surprise 30th and added David, Emma, and 8 other close friends. Operation Birthday Surprise is officially underway. She typed, "Meeting at my apartment tomorrow at 7 p.m. to plan everything. Don't tell Mike." The responses came flooding in quickly. "Count me in. David, this is going to be awesome. Tom, I'll bring snacks to the planning meeting. Lisa can't wait to see his face. Rachel, should we have a theme? James, I'm terrible at keeping secrets, but I'll try my best." Alex. Sarah chuckled at Alex's message. Alex was notorious for accidentally spilling secrets, which made him a liability in any surprise planning. She quickly typed back, "Alex, maybe avoid Mike until Saturday." The next evening, everyone except Mike gathered at Sarah's apartment. Her living room was barely big enough for all 9 people, but they managed to squeeze in, sitting on couches, chairs, and even the floor. "Okay everyone," Sarah began, standing in front of the TV with a notepad in hand. "We have just 3 days to plan the perfect surprise party for Mike. Let's divide and conquer. We need decorations, food, drinks, music, and a cake." "I can handle the decorations," Lisa offered. "I'm thinking balloons, streamers, and a big 30 sign." "Great," Sarah said, writing it down. "Tom and Rachel, can you handle the food?" "Nothing too fancy, just party snacks and finger foods." Tom and Rachel nodded in agreement. "James and I can take care of drinks," David volunteered, "both alcoholic and non-alcoholic options." "Perfect," Sarah continued. "Alex, you're in charge of music. Create a playlist with all of Mike's favorite songs." Alex gave a thumbs up, clearly happy to have a task that wouldn't require him to keep secrets directly. "And I'll order the cake," Sarah finished. "Emma, remember your job is the most important, keeping Mike away from his house until exactly 6 p.m. on Saturday." "Don't worry, I've got it covered," Emma assured everyone. "I'll tell him my brother's birthday is coming up, and I need his help choosing a gift. That should keep him out for a few hours." "What about gifts?" asked James. "Should we coordinate, or just bring our own?" "Let's each bring something small," Sarah suggested. "But maybe we could also do one big gift from all of us. Any ideas?" After a moment of silence, Tom spoke up. Mike's been talking about wanting a new guitar for months. His old one is falling apart. Maybe we could all chip in. Everyone nodded enthusiastically at this suggestion. That's perfect, Sarah exclaimed. I saw him eyeing that blue electric guitar at the music store downtown. I'll check the price and let everyone know how much to contribute. One more thing, David added. How are we getting into his house? All eyes turned to Emma. I have a key, she said, pulling it out of her purse. I'll give it to Sarah on Saturday morning. Great, Sarah said with a smile. I think we're all set. Let's meet at Mike's house at 4 p.m. on Saturday to set everything up. Emma will keep him away until 6 and then bring him home for the surprise. Everyone left Sarah's apartment feeling excited about the plan. For the next 2 days, they communicated through their group chat, confirming details and making sure everything was on track. On Thursday, Sarah went to the music store to check on the guitar. Excuse me, she said to the sales clerk. How much is that blue electric guitar in the display window? The clerk, a young man with multiple piercings and a friendly smile, walked her over to the guitar. This Fender Stratocaster, it's $800, but it's worth every penny. Excellent sound quality. Sarah's heart sank. That was much more expensive than she had anticipated. Even with 10 people contributing, it would be $80 each, which felt like a lot to ask. Thanks, she said to the clerk, then stepped outside to call David. The guitar is $800, she told him when he answered. That's a lot more than I expected. David replied. That is quite a bit. Let me think. Oh, what about Mike's Uncle Tony? He owns that music shop across town. Maybe he'd give us a discount if we bought it from him instead. David, you're a genius, Sarah exclaimed. I'll call him right now. Tony was delighted to hear about their plan and offered them a similar guitar for just $500. Anything for my favorite nephew, he said. And I'll even throw in a new strap and some picks. With the gifts sorted, Sarah focused on ordering the cake. She chose Mike's favorite chocolate with raspberry filling and asked for Happy 30th Birthday, Mike, to be written on top in blue icing, his favorite color. Friday flew by with last-minute preparations. Lisa bought decorations. Tom and Rachel planned the menu, and James and David stocked up on drinks. Alex finished creating a playlist titled Mike's Awesome 30th, filled with all of Mike's favorite songs from different periods of his life. Meanwhile, Emma had the challenging task of keeping the secret from Mike while they spent time together. On Friday night, as they were having dinner at her apartment, Mike said, So, any plans for tomorrow? It's my birthday, you know. Emma almost choked on her pasta. She had been so focused on the surprise that she hadn't prepared for the possibility that Mike would mention his birthday directly. Oh, is it? She said, trying to sound casual while her mind raced for a response. I thought we could hang out, maybe go shopping. My brother's birthday is coming up, and I could use your help picking something out for him. Mike looked slightly disappointed but nodded. Sure, that sounds fine. Emma felt a pang of guilt, seeing his reaction. He clearly thought she had forgotten his birthday. She quickly added, and of course we'll do something special for your birthday too. Maybe dinner at that new restaurant you've been wanting to try. This seemed to cheer him up. That would be great, he said with a smile. Emma texted the group later that night, almost messed up. He mentioned his birthday and looked sad when I didn't make a big deal about it. Had to promise him a special dinner to make up for it. He doesn't suspect a thing though. Saturday morning arrived, and everyone was both nervous and excited. Emma dropped off her key with Sarah early, before heading to Mike's place to pick him up for their shopping trip. Happy birthday, she said cheerfully when Mike opened the door, giving him a big hug and a kiss. Thanks, he replied with a smile. So, shopping first and then dinner. Yep, that's the plan, Emma confirmed, linking her arm through his as they walked to her car. My brother is impossible to shop for, almost as bad as you. Mike laughed. Hey, I'm not that difficult, says the man who returned 3 Christmas gifts last year. Emma teased, and they both laughed as they got into the car. At 4 p.m. Sarah, David, and the rest of the group converged on Mike's house, arms full of supplies. Sarah unlocked the door, and they all piled inside. Okay, we have exactly 2 hours, Sarah announced. Lisa, start on decorations. Tom and Rachel set up the food in the kitchen. James and David arranged the drinks. Alex, get the music system ready. I'll set up the gift table and make sure everything is coordinated. Everyone got to work, transforming Mike's ordinary living room into a festive party space. Lisa hung blue and silver streamers from the ceiling and attached balloons to every possible surface. A large banner reading, "Happy 30th Birthday, Mike," was hung across the main wall. Tom and Rachel arranged an impressive spread of food on the kitchen counter. Mini sandwiches, a cheese board, chicken wings, vegetable platters, with dip, and several types of chips and salsa. James and David set up a drink station with beer, wine, soft drinks, and a special punch they had created for the occasion, which they named Mike's Milestone Mix. Alex connected his phone to Mike's sound system and tested the playlist to make sure everything worked properly. Sarah coordinated everything, making sure no detail was overlooked. She placed the carefully wrapped guitar, which they had picked up from Tony's shop that morning, on the coffee table, surrounded by smaller gifts from each of them. At 5:30 p.m., the cake was delivered, a beautiful chocolate creation with "Happy 30th Birthday, Mike" written in perfect blue icing, just as Sarah had requested. By 5:45 p.m., everything was ready. 10 people hid in various spots around the living room and kitchen, giggling nervously as they waited for Emma's text, saying they were on their way. Meanwhile, Emma had been keeping Mike busy all day. They had lunch at a casual cafe, then spent hours shopping for her brother's gift. By 5:30 p.m., Mike was starting to look tired. "I think we've seen everything this mall has to offer," he said with a slight yawn. "Should we head to that restaurant now?" "Actually," Emma said, checking her phone for the 10th time in as many minutes, "I forgot something at your place. Do you mind if we stop there quickly before dinner?" "Sure," Mike replied, not suspecting anything. Emma sent a quick text to the group. "On our way. Eta 10 minutes." Back at the house, everyone received the message and quickly found hiding places. Sarah turned off the lights, leaving only the soft glow from some string lights they had put up. "Remember," she whispered to everyone, "when they come in and turn on the lights, we all jump out and yell surprise." "Got it." Everyone nodded, barely containing their excitement. At precisely 6:02 p.m., they heard a car pull into the driveway. Hearts raced as footsteps approached the front door. "Why are all the lights off?" they heard Mike ask, as a key turned in the lock. "I don't know," Emma replied innocently. "Let me turn them on." The door opened, the lights came on, and 10 people jumped out from behind furniture shouting, "Surprise! Happy birthday, Mike." Mike's reaction was priceless. His jaw dropped, his eyes widened, and for a moment, he was completely speechless. Then a huge smile spread across his face. "You guys," he finally managed to say, "I can't believe you did all this. I thought everyone had forgotten." "Forget your 30th birthday. Never," Sarah said, coming forward to give him a hug. "Happy birthday, Mike." Everyone took turns hugging Mike and wishing him happy birthday. He looked around at the decorations, the food, the drinks, and all his friends, clearly overwhelmed by the effort they had put in. "This is amazing," he said, his voice slightly choked with emotion. "Thank you all so much." "Don't thank us yet," David said with a grin. "You haven't even seen your gifts." "Gifts? You didn't have to get me anything," Mike protested, but his eyes were already moving curiously to the pile on the coffee table. "Open the small ones first," Sarah instructed, "and save the big one for last." Mike sat down and began opening his presents. From David, he received a set of vintage vinyl records by his favorite band. Lisa gave him a custom mug with a childhood photo of him and Sarah printed on it, which made everyone laugh. Tom and Rachel's gift was a cookbook of exotic recipes. Knowing Mike's love for experimenting in the kitchen, James bought him a fancy bottle of whiskey, while Alex gave him tickets to an upcoming concert. When he had opened all the small gifts and thanked everyone profusely, Sarah pointed to the large rectangular package on the coffee table. "This one is from all of us," she said. Mike looked intrigued as he began unwrapping it. When he finally removed the paper and saw the guitar case, his eyes widened. "No way," he whispered, carefully opening the case to reveal the beautiful blue, electric guitar inside. "No way," he repeated, louder this time. This is exactly what I've been wanting." "How did you know? How did you afford this?" "We all chipped in," Sarah explained. "And your Uncle Tony gave us a good deal." "Uncle Tony was in on this too." Mike laughed, carefully lifting the guitar out of its case. "I can't believe it. This is the best gift ever. Try it out." Several people encouraged him. Mike didn't need to be asked twice. He strummed a few chords, and even though the guitar wasn't plugged into an amplifier, the sound was beautiful. "I don't know what to say," he said, looking around at all his friends. "Thank you all so much. This means more to me than you know." "Speech," Alex called out, and others joined in. "Speech, speech." Mike carefully put the guitar back in its case and stood up. a little embarrassed but clearly touched. Well, I'm not great at speeches, he began, but I just want to say thank you. When I woke up this morning, I honestly thought most of you had forgotten my birthday. Emma here made me think we were just going shopping for her brother. He nudged Emma playfully, and she laughed. But instead, you were all planning this amazing surprise. I have the best friends in the world, and turning 30 doesn't feel so bad with all of you here with me. Everyone applauded, and Emma kissed him on the cheek. Happy birthday, babe, she said. Now, who wants cake? Sarah brought out the chocolate raspberry cake with its blue icing, and everyone sang happy birthday to Mike. After he blew out the candles, the party really got going. Alex started the music, David served drinks, and everyone filled plates with the delicious food Tom and Rachel had prepared. As the evening progressed, the initial surprise gave way to a relaxed celebration. Friends mingled, sharing stories and laughs. Mike couldn't stop smiling, occasionally glancing at his new guitar with obvious delight. Around 8 p.m., Alex, who had been unusually quiet for the past half hour, suddenly stood up and clinked his glass with a spoon to get everyone's attention. Everyone, I have an announcement to make, he said, his voice slightly nervous. Sarah groaned inwardly. Alex was known for making impulsive announcements when he'd had a few drinks, and they weren't always appropriate. Alex, maybe now's not the time, she began, but he interrupted her. No, it's important, he insisted. I've been keeping a secret, a real secret, not like this party for weeks now, and I can't keep it in any longer. The room fell silent, everyone curious about what Alex would say. I got the job, he exclaimed. The one in New York I interviewed for last month. I'm moving in 3 weeks. There was a moment of stunned silence, followed by a chorus of congratulations. Alex had been trying to land a job at a prestigious marketing firm in New York for years, and everyone knew how important this was to him. That's fantastic news, Mike said, giving his friend a hug. This calls for a toast. David quickly refilled everyone's glasses, and Mike raised his. To Alex and his new adventure in New York. We're all incredibly proud of you, even though we'll miss you like crazy. To Alex, everyone echoed, raising their glasses as they drank. Lisa suddenly giggled. I just realized something, she said. We're all growing up. Mike's 30, Alex is moving for his dream job. What happened to those college kids who thought staying up past midnight was the height of rebellion? They grew up and realized that staying up past midnight just makes you tired the next day. Tom replied, making everyone laugh. But seriously, Sarah added, even though we're getting older and our lives are changing, nights like this remind me that our friendship doesn't have to change. We'll always be there for each other, no matter what. Here, James agreed, raising his glass again. As the party continued, smaller conversations broke out around the room. Sarah found herself in the kitchen, putting more snacks into bowls, when Mike came in to help her. Hey, he said, leaning against the counter. I never properly thanked you. I know you were the mastermind behind all this. Sarah smiled. It was a team effort, really. Everyone was excited to celebrate you. Maybe, but I know you were the one who remembered my birthday and got everyone organized. You've always been there for me, Sarah. 30 years of friendship. That's something special. It is, Sarah agreed. Remember when we were 10, and you had that disastrous birthday party where all the kids got food poisoning from the hot dogs? Mike groaned. How could I forget? My mum was mortified. But you stayed, even though you were sick too, just so I wouldn't feel like a complete failure. And now look at us, Sarah said, gesturing toward the living room where their friends were, laughing and talking, all grown up with no food poisoning in sight. I'd say that's progress. They both laughed, and Mike gave her a quick hug. Thanks for being my friend all these years. Always, Sarah replied with a smile. Now, go enjoy your party. The birthday boy shouldn't be hiding in the kitchen. As the evening went on, the party showed no signs of winding down. Around 9:30 p.m., there was a knock at the door. Are we expecting anyone else? Mike asked, looking around. Everyone shook their heads, looking equally confused. Mike went to open the door and let out a surprised laugh. Mom, Dad, what are you doing here? Mike's parents, Linda and Robert, stood in the doorway with warm smiles. We couldn't miss our son's 30th birthday, could we? Linda said, giving Mike a big hug. But you said you were away for the weekend, Mike said, clearly shocked but pleased. That was part of the surprise, Robert explained, clapping his son on the shoulder. Sarah called us last week about the party. Mike turned to look at Sarah with an expression of amazement. She shrugged. with a smile. I thought having your parents here would make it even more special. Linda and Robert greeted everyone warmly. They had known most of Mike's friends for years and fit right into the celebration. We can't stay long, Linda explained. We're actually driving back tonight, but we wanted to stop by and wish our boy a happy birthday. And drop off this, Robert added, handing Mike an envelope. Mike opened it curiously and pulled out a set of keys. He looked at his parents questioningly. It's for the cabin, Linda explained. We've decided it's time to share it with the next generation. You've always loved it there, and now you and your friends can use it whenever you want. The cabin was a beautiful lakeside property a few hours from the city that had been in their family for decades. Mike had spent many happy summers there as a child. Really? Mike asked, clearly moved by the gesture. That's, wow. Thank you both so much. Just don't throw any wild parties, Robert joked, though the look he cast around the current party suggested he knew his warning would go unheeded. Would we do that? Mike asked innocently, making everyone laugh. After about an hour, Linda and Robert said their goodbyes, leaving Mike even more touched by all the effort that had gone into making his birthday special. As midnight approached, the party was still going strong. David had convinced Mike to hook up his new guitar to an amplifier, and he was playing some simple tunes while others sang along, some more in tune than others. I have an idea, Emma said during a break in the music. Let's play that game where everyone shares their favorite memory of Mike. Oh no, Mike groaned, but he was smiling. Do we have to? Absolutely, Emma insisted. I'll start. My favorite memory is our first date, when you tried to impress me by cooking a fancy dinner and ended up setting off the smoke alarm. You were so embarrassed, but I thought it was adorable how hard you tried. The chicken was only a little burnt. Mike protested amid laughter. My turn, David said. Remember that road trip we took after graduation? We got lost because Mike insisted we didn't need a map or GPS, just his innate sense of direction. We ended up in a completely different state. In my defense, Mike said, it was a very confusing intersection. One by one, everyone shared memories, some embarrassing, some touching, all of them highlighting the love and friendship they all shared with Mike. When it was Sarah's turn, she thought for a moment before speaking. My favorite memory isn't just one moment, she said. It's all the times over the past 30 years when you've been there for me, Mike. When my parents divorced, when I didn't get into my first choice college, when I broke up with Jason. You were always the first person to show up at my door, usually with ice cream and terrible jokes. The jokes weren't that bad, Mike objected, but his eyes were suspiciously bright. They were awful, Sarah insisted with a laugh. But they always made me feel better. The game continued, bringing both laughter and a few tears, strengthening the bonds between all of them. As the clock struck midnight, marking the end of Mike's birthday, the party began to wind down naturally. Tom and Rachel were the first to leave, followed by James and a few others. By 1 a.m., only Sarah, David, Emma, and Alex remained with Mike, helping to clean up the worst of the mess. Leave it, Mike insisted as Sarah started collecting plates. You've all done more than enough. I can clean up tomorrow. At least let us take down the decorations, Sarah argued. The streamers will fall on you in the middle of the night and give you a heart attack. Fine, but that's it, Mike conceded. And take some food with you. There's way too much left. As they packed up leftover food and took down decorations, Mike sat on the couch with his new guitar, strumming softly. So, how does it feel to be 30? David asked, sitting down next to him. Mike considered the question. You know, this morning I was kind of dreading it. It felt like this big, scary milestone. But after today, he looked around at his remaining friends, at the evidence of the celebration, at his girlfriend laughing with Sarah about something. After today, I'm thinking 30 might not be so bad after all. That's the spirit, David said, patting him on the back. Life only gets better from here. Soon, David and Alex said their goodbyes, leaving with containers of leftover food and promises to call Mike the next day. I should go too, Sarah said, yawning. It's been a long day. Thanks again for everything, Mike said, giving her a warm hug. This was the best birthday ever. You're welcome, Sarah replied. Happy birthday, old man. Mike laughed and playfully pushed her toward the door. Get out of here before I show you who's old. After Sarah left, it was just Mike and Emma. So, Emma said, sitting down next to him, surprised. Completely, Mike admitted. I had no idea. You're a very good actress, pretending you needed help shopping for your brother. I was sweating bullets the whole time, Emma confessed. Especially when you mentioned your birthday yesterday and looked so disappointed. I felt terrible. Well, it was worth it, Mike assured her, pulling her close. This was the most amazing birthday. Thank you for being part of it. There's nowhere else I'd rather be, Emma said, resting her head on his shoulder as they sat together on the couch, surrounded by the remnants of the party. A few balloons still floating on the ceiling, the banner still hanging on the wall, the evidence of a day filled with love and friendship. Mike felt a deep sense of contentment. Turning 30 hadn't been the crisis he had feared. Instead, it had become a celebration of everything good in his life. Friends who would go to extraordinary lengths to make him happy. Parents who still surprised him with their generosity. And a girlfriend who looked at him like he was the most important person in her world. As he gazed at the beautiful guitar resting in its case, at the keys to the cabin sitting on the coffee table, at Emma beside him, Mike realized that age was just a number. What mattered were the connections you made, the love you gave and received, and the memories you created along the way. The surprise birthday party had been perfect, not because of the decorations or the food or even the gifts, but because it had reminded him of what was truly important in life. And as he looked forward to his 30s, Mike knew that as long as he had these people by his side, every year would be worth celebrating. Emma yawned and snuggled closer to him. Happy birthday, Mike, she murmured sleepily. Thanks, he replied, softly, kissing the top of her head. It really was. And as the clock ticked past 2 a.m., marking the first day of his 30s, Mike couldn't help but smile. Life was good, and it was only getting better. Key vocabulary repeated throughout. Surprise, something unexpected or astonishing. Example, the surprise birthday party was a complete success. Birthday, the anniversary of the day on which a person was born. Example, Mike's 30th birthday was a milestone worth celebrating. Plan a detailed proposal for doing or achieving something. Example, Sarah and Emma made a careful plan to keep the party a secret. Secret, something kept hidden from others. Example, keeping the party a secret was challenging for Alex. Organize, arrange into a structured whole. Coordinate. Example, Emma helped organize all the details of the celebration. Decorations, items used to make something look more attractive for a special occasion. Example, Lisa hung colorful decorations all around Mike's living room. Celebration, a social gathering or enjoyable activity held to celebrate something. Example, the celebration continued late into the night. Gift, present, a thing given to someone as a present. Example, the guitar was the perfect gift for Mike's birthday. Friendship, a relationship between friends. Example, their friendship had lasted for 30 years. Milestone, a significant stage or event in the development of something. Example, turning 30 was an important milestone in Mike's life. Memories, recollections of past events. Example, everyone shared their favorite memories of Mike during the party. Surprise, to cause someone to feel mild astonishment or shock. Example, they managed to completely surprise Mike when he walked through the door. Did you enjoy that story? I hope it brought a smile to your face and helped you learn some new English vocabulary along the way. If you liked this story about friendship and celebration, make sure to hit that like button and share it with someone who might enjoy learning English through stories. Don't forget to subscribe to Story Driven English for more engaging stories that make learning English fun and natural. Drop a comment below telling us about a surprise party you've experienced or planned. Your engagement helps our channel grow, and we love hearing from you. Until next time, keep learning, and see you in our next story adventure.